All rise. We will be. The International Criminal Court is now in session. L'audience de la Cour pénale internationale est ouverte. Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir.
Thank you very much. Court officer, please announce the case.
Thank you, Mr. President. Situation in the Republic of Kenya. In the case of the prosecutor versus William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang, ICC 01090111.
Thank you. I see that appearances remain the same.
They do on our part, Mr. President. Indeed, Mr. President.
Good morning, Your Honor. Save for the absence of Mr. Anton Steinberg, prosecution team is the same.
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honors. The appearances are the same on our side. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President. Same thing for witness 356. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Witness, welcome back. And Mr. Khan will continue his cross-examination of you. Again, I remind you of the need to listen carefully to the question. Make sure you understand the question that is being asked of you before answering. Also, try not to guess at answers to the question. Answer what you know. Also, do your best, please, to observe the pauses between the completion of the question asked of you and you beginning to answer the question. And counsel as well, the same goes. Thank you. We know that because everyone, the witness is testifying in English and the counsel is also questioning in English, so that poses greater risk of overlapping. Thank you. Mr. Khan, we ended in private session on Friday. Do you want to go back into private session to continue? Or
Please, Mr. President.
You do?
Private.
All right.
I'm grateful.
How long do you think we will be in there?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. A private session, please.
We're in open session, Your Honors.
Thank you. Mr. Khan, please proceed.
Mr. Witness, looking at the form in front of you, it's correct, is it not, that you met with a representative of 5, representative of 5, and gave a statement. Is that right?
It is true, Your Honor.
And the process of giving a statement took a long time. Is that right?
It didn't take a long time, Your Honor.
You sat with them until the evening. Is that right?
No, Your Honor.
Did you meet with number 2 on the form in front of you?
Yes, Your Honor.
You gave a statement to 2, did you?
I did, Your Honor.
And that statement took quite a while, did it? It was a detailed statement.
Yes, Your Honor.
How many hours do you think, witness?
About 1 hour, Your Honor.
And in that meeting, you spoke about the possibility of witness protection. Is that right?
I don't remember if I did so, Your Honor.
Well, wasn't it specifically put to you that if you were to say you were under threat, you could be placed under a witness protection program. Weren't you told that?
Your Honor, it was me whom I told them that I was under threat, Your Honor.
Did they tell you that if you were under threat, you could be placed under a witness protection program? They told you that, didn't they?
They told me, Your Honor.
Thank you, witness. Now, I'm correct, am I not, that there were many organizations in the North Rift which were focused on providing witness protection. You're aware of that, aren't you?
I was not aware of all of them, Your Honor.
You've heard of the Center for Human Rights and Democracy, have you? You've heard of that?
Your Honor, by answering all these questions, I would not be free
1 second.
to answer.
Your Honor, yes, 1 second. I'd ask that we go into private session.
Private session.
We're in open session, Your Honors.
Mr. Witness, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and if you could be careful to answer yes, no, or I don't know to the questions that I put. So my first question is that you're aware, are you not, that there were many small organizations and NGOs operating in the North Rift, which were...
Mr. Ken, he's already answered that. Your specific question was whether the witness has heard of the Center for Human Rights and Democracy.
Have you heard of that organization, witness?
I heard about it, Your Honor.
Have you heard of an organization called the Center Against Torture?
No, Your Honor.
Have you heard of an organization called the Anti-Torture Campaign Network?
No, Your Honor.
Also known as the ATCN. Heard of that? ATCN.
No, Your Honor.
How about an organization called the Kalenjin Youth Alliance, also known as Kalia? Have you heard of that one?
I have heard about it, Your Honor.
How about one called Good Samaritans International?
I have heard about it, Your Honor.
Yes. Now, the ones you've heard about, you're aware, are you not, that they were providing witness protection for victims and witnesses of the post-election violence in Kenya. You're aware of that?
I was not aware, Your Honor.
You were not aware?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you know, do you, that certain people like Mr. Ken Wafula, Mr. Abu Bakr Juma, Mr. Jonah Ruto, Mr. George Bett, and Mr. Thomas Getich, N-G-E-T-I-C-H, along with number 12, 13, and 15 on your list. All of these people were involved in these supposed witness protection schemes. Are you aware of that?
I was not aware, and I'm not aware to now, Your Honor.
Are you aware that the organizations that you were familiar with or you heard about, they receive funding from US aid?
I'm not aware, Your Honor.
Are you aware that one of the main conduits, one of the main implementers for USAID on the ground in the North Rift was a group called CHEMONICS, C-H-E-M-O-N-I-C-S. You've heard of CHEMONICS?
No, Your Honor, I've not heard of them.
Have you heard of Mr. Mark Lawler, L-A-W-L-A-R?
No, Your Honor.
Regional Manager of CHEMONICS?
No, Your Honor.
He has a restaurant and bar called the Well Restaurant and Bar. You've not heard of him?
No, Your Honor, I've not that.
Did you ever hear that US aid was particularly focused in trying to get evidence against Mr. William Ruto?
No, Your Honor.
Had you heard that US aid was trying to implicate him in the post-election violence?
I've never heard, Your Honor.
Or to act as a magnet for witnesses that would somehow blame him or people that were thought to be supporters of him?
I object,
Were you
Your
aware of
Honor.
that?
I object, Your Honor. That's the third time that the same type of question has been put to the witness, and clearly the witness has no information regarding U.S. ID.
Objection is sustained.
Are you aware that US aid was providing protection to people that were perceived to be allied to Mr. William Ruto?
No, Your Honor, I'm not aware.
Are you aware that the benefits for witness protection that was being offered in the North Rift by these organizations was very substantial compared to the ordinary earnings of ordinary Kenyans in that area?
I object, Your Honor. I don't see how the witness can answer this type of question.
Sustained.
I'm not aware, Your Honor.
When I say sustained, means the objection for the prosecution has been accepted by the court and you shouldn't answer the question.
Are you aware that in order to get benefits, people were falsely blaming Mr. William Ruto?
I object, Your Honor. The witness can't answer that type of question.
Your Honour, this is rather surprising. It's a very easy question to ask. The answer, of course, may amount to a collateral question or the rest of it. But, Your Honour, there's been no basis for the objection to say that a witness can't be asked whether or not he knows there's a scam in place.
Can you look at your question? Whether the witness is aware that in order to get benefits, people were falsely blaming Mr. Ruto. The objection is sustained.
I'll reformulate it. Are you aware that people were giving stories, Mr. Witness, knowingly giving stories, implicating Mr. Ruto in the post-election violence in order to receive the benefits that came with the witness protection schemes being offered in the North Rift? Are you aware of that?
It is the same question reformulated. The point about it is not the formulation of it, but the substance of it. That this witness would know people who testified.
Well, Your Honour, he know.
1 second. And that they were receiving benefits and they were falsely blaming Mr. Ruto. Objection is sustained.
Your Honour, can I say for the record, I'll move on, but I want to make a record. The bench, in my respectful submission, and the prosecution cannot anticipate evidence. There's been no argument put forward that it's impossible, if there's a cabal, if there's a group in place that's discussing false evidence, that the witness would not be able to testify in relation to the question. So, Your Honour, I'll move on. But I have a duty to put my case, and I'm saying the witness was part of a scam, and that's what the question was focused on. And he knew that other people were doing exactly what he did, which is putting forward false evidence. But, Your Honour, I'll move on, but I wanted the record to be clear as to the ground of relevance and my objection, in principle, to the argument put forward by the prosecution, and indeed the ruling of the court that it should be disallowed. But, Your Honour, I'll move on.
You might have begun with whether he knew of anyone. But when you say people...
Are you aware of anyone, witness, who has given false evidence regarding Mr. Ruto to get benefits?
No, Your Honor.
Are you aware that people including Mr. Ken Wafula, Mr. Abu Bakr Juma, and persons 12, 13 and 15 knew completely well that the stories they were receiving from individuals regarding Mr. William Ruto were false, but they took those accounts because they were getting money from US aid?
I'm not aware, Your Honor.
Are you aware, then, with this witness, that individuals, and please include yourself in this, put in exaggerated and false claims in Kenya with these organizations, claiming huge amounts of money for rent, school fees and allowances, and they were paid simply because the story they gave was one that was in demand by USAID and other organizations?
I'm not aware, Your Honor.
Your Honor, could we go into private session for a moment, please?
A private session.
We're in open session, Your Honors.
Mr. Gann, proceed, please.
Witness, before the break, in fact, while we're in closed session, I asked you a few questions regarding Ambassador Rannenberger and whether or not you knew that he was very active in the North Rift, seeking to persuade people to drop their support, their political support, for William Ruto, and you said you were not aware of that. Do you remember that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then I asked you a supplementary question stating, are you aware that Ambassador Rannenberger was trying to get individuals to give evidence against Mr. William Ruto before the ICC? Do you remember that?
I remember, Your Honor.
And you said you had no information, effectively. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I'm going to ask you some questions regarding what you've received from the ICC. And the prosecution have given us details of the money they have spent on you. It's not everything. It's not everything from the victim and witness unit, but it's OTP witness-related expenses. I want to make that clear. And if you look at the document in front of you, and I'm not going to go through it in detail, but just go to the 1st of July, you'll see that you received $3,367 US on the 1st of August 2012. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on the 2nd of August, the very next day, just go down, you received $3,524 United States dollars. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, just so there not be any confusion afterwards on the record, I think the $3,367 US dollars, that's on the 2nd of August, unless I don't see any 1st of August for that amount.
Your Honor, 1st of August was $3,367 United States dollars, which the witness accepts receiving. And then on the 2nd of August, $3,524 United States dollars and 53 cents. So, witness, you received that as well, didn't you, the next day?
I received, Your Honor.
So, over a period of 2 days, you received the equivalent of more than 600,000 Kenyan shillings, didn't you?
Yes, Your Honor, I received.
And you had been earning less than 100,000 Kenyan shillings per year, hadn't you?
Yes, Your Honor, but it was depending on...
And witness...
1 second. Let's go into private session briefly. If need be, we can repeat the answer properly. proceed in private session, please.
We're in open session, Your Honors.
Thank you. I said we will not repeat the answer in public. I did not say we will now. I said we will not repeat the answer in public. Mr. Can continue, please.
Witness, between, if you look at the top of the document, you see the date there? The top of the document. Between yes, to the left, please, Court Officer. If the document could be moved to the right, so we could see the left column. Witness, you see the date on the top. That indicates the first recorded payment you received from the OTP. To the 6 months later, the last payment. Next page, please. Last page. Mr. Witness, in 6 months, you received more than 20,000 US dollars, didn't you?
Yes, Your Honor, I received.
And receipt of these funds, this money, for housing and other benefits, is a major reason why you decided to involve yourself in this process. Isn't that right?
No, Your Honor. I didn't even know that I'll be moving to one place to another.
Now, witness, we're going to go to another topic. You like a drink, don't you, witness?
I object, Your Honor. This type of, this line of questioning, defense counsel, this is a second attempt trying to get into this line of questioning regarding lifestyle of the witness, and the chamber has already decided in reference to one other document on Friday that it was not permissible for the defense to go in this line of questioning, which has absolutely no bearing on the credibility of the witness. So once again, I don't think that Mr. Khan should embark upon this line of questioning, which will not help the chamber in any which way.
Your Honour, in our respectful submission, has a direct bearing, and in fact it goes to the one of the previous documents that I referred to in private session. But Your Honour, I'll say no more in public. Your Honour, I'm going to ask 3 or 4 questions, then go into private.
The chamber's ruling, Mr. Garcia, on the previous occasion was not directly on drinking or not drinking. He was on the companion in supposed flaw that the defense had also asked at the time. That's not, of course, to say that any ruling has been made one way or the other on drinking. But let's see what the relevance. Mr. Khan, you need to make it relevant.
Witness, you told the prosecution when you were interviewed that you used to drink quite regularly, even more than 6 bottles of Tuskers. Is that right?
Your Honor, I would be free to answer that question. Not yet.
Is it the case that you were accustomed, when you'd been on a drinking trip, when you'd been drinking heavily, you used to take chewing gum to disguise the drink?
I object, Your Honor. First of all, in regards to the first question that has been posed by the defense counsel, the witnesses indicated that I think that what he wants is to be able to respond in private session if need be. As for the relevance, 2 questions have already been posed by counsel at defense, and I don't see any relevance to this case or to the credibility of the witness.
Mr. Khan, I asked for you to keep an eye on relevance. We will go into private session for you to explain the relevance.
Well, Your Honour, I won't say more in the presence of the witness, even in private session, but Your Honour will see in tab 25. That's Ken OTP 0073-0209, paragraph 3. And in the fourth sentence, you'll see how the witness describes a certain event, which he's giving evidence about. And it's linked to that, Your Honour, the real cause of what he describes.
Did you say paragraph 3?
Paragraph 3, Your Honour. Sorry, paragraph 4, the first, second, the fourth sentence. That assertion that's contained in the fourth sentence, the issue of drink, is very clearly and closely related to that averment.
Your Honor, I've had a chance to read the sentence. I don't see any link at all with the credibility of the witness or anything that's relevant to this case.
Your Honour, I would ask, as we go forward, that the prosecution not stand up and object simply because evidence may be uncomfortable for them. This is clearly...
We will allow the line of question, but Mr. Ken, we still must be wary of relevance. We know that there was testimony given in chief, so if you want to explore the circumstances, you'll be allowed to do that, but let's be careful to just not overdo this thing.
Witness, when you used to drink, you usually drank to the limit. Is that right? You drank until you were drunk?
I didn't drink till I was drunk or forget myself, Your Honor. I drank to a point that I feel that it's enough for me, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we could go to private session, please.
A private session.